The diner was quiet in that fragile, late afternoon way when sunlight turns dust into gold and even the clatter of plates sounds softer than usual, the kind of place where time slowed down for people who no longer needed to rush, and that's exactly why the old man liked it there. He was 81 years old, a war veteran whose back carried memories heavier than his age, sitting alone in a red leather booth near the window, hands trembling slightly as he lifted a chipped white coffee mug, his faded jacket neatly folded beside him, a small bronze service pin still fixed to the lapel as if it were armor, and no one noticed him much anymore, which suited him fine, until the door slammed open and the wrong kind of noise walked in. The thug was young, loud, and cruel in the careless way of men who had never paid for their arrogance, his boots thudding across the diner floor like he owned it, his voice already raised as he laughed with his friends, mocking the waitress, mocking the place, mocking everything that didn't bend to him, and when his shoulder clipped the old man's table, spilling coffee across the worn formica, the veteran looked up slowly, not angry, just tired, and said, "Son, you might want to watch where you're walking," and that should have been the end of it, just a quiet correction, a warning wrapped in courtesy, but the thug turned, eyes cold, smile sharp, and something ugly flickered in him when he saw the wrinkles, the shaking hands, the age, because bullies recognize vulnerability like sharks smell blood, and he sneered, called the old man a name that carried no weight except cruelty, and when the veteran stood, not tall anymore but proud, straightening his spine the way he had been trained decades ago, the diner seemed to hold its breath, but no one moved fast enough, and the slap cracked through the room like a gunshot, open-handed, vicious, snapping the old man's head to the side, the sound louder than it should have been, and the silence afterward was worse. The veteran staggered, caught the table, blood trickling from a split lip, his eyes glassy not with pain but with something deeper, something like disbelief, and the thug laughed, actually laughed, saying, "Sit down, old man," and every person in that diner felt the shame of doing nothing press against their ribs, except they didn't know what was coming next. The door opened again, slower this time, heavier, and the air changed as if the room itself sensed danger, and one by one motorcycles rolled into view through the window, chrome flashing, engines rumbling low like distant thunder, and then Boots stepped inside, not rushed, not loud, but deliberate, and the first man through the door stopped dead when he saw the blood on the old man's face, his father's face, because that's what the veteran was, and the son didn't need to ask what happened. Didn't need to shout, didn't need to threaten, because behind him came men in leather vests marked with skulls and wings, Hell's Angels colors stitched with years of loyalty and violence earned, men who had seen wars of their own, and the diner froze. The son crossed the room slowly, each step measured, eyes never leaving his father, knelt beside him, gently touching his cheek, asking softly if he was okay, and when the old man nodded, trying to smile through blood, the son stood, turned, and faced the thug, and in that moment the power shifted completely, because the thug's grin faltered, his confidence draining as he realized too late that he hadn't slapped just an old man. He'd slapped the past, the sacrifice, the father of a man who commanded respect from people who didn't give it lightly. No punches were thrown, not yet, because the son spoke first, his voice calm but lethal, explaining who his father was, where he had served, how many friends he had buried, how many times he had stood for a flag while others slept safely, and every word hit harder than fists ever could, and the Hell's Angels stood silent behind him, not moving, not threatening, just present, which was worse, because everyone knew what they were capable of. The thug tried to talk, to laugh it off, to apologize, but apologies mean nothing when they come from fear instead of regret, and the son told him to look at the old man's face, to remember it, because this would be the last free lesson he ever got about respect, and the thug left, stumbling, pale, stripped of his bravado, while the diner exhaled in shaky relief. The angels stayed long enough to help the veteran sit, to make sure the waitress brought ice and clean cloths, to ensure the old man was treated like the hero he was, and when they finally left, engines roaring back to life, the diner wasn't the same anymore, because everyone there had learned something about silence, about courage, about how strength doesn't always look young or loud, and how sometimes justice doesn't come with fists, but with presence, loyalty, and love. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you that respect matters, that heroes still walk among us, and that standing up for what's right can change everything, then make sure you subscribe to this channel, because stories like this deserve to be told, remembered, and shared.